Welcome back to Generation Dan. This week we got a fun one, really light topic for you. I am Nick Fernandez, and our guest this week is the fabulous Jon DePaola. But before we get to him, let's introduce our other co-hosts.
Dino, you can't do that. I'm Atlas Novak.
Pretty sure you're not Atlas Novak, but
can we just do that throughout the show? I didn't
Yeah, you can put stuff
I
up
can
all
do
the
that.
time. We can do that, yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Magic
Okay.
Fingers over there,
Yeah.
or also known as
Dino the Genetic Marvel. Hey guys.
Hi, how are you doing? How are you doing? But yes, Atlas, before we started up, you said you had a really fun topic for us today.
So,
Care to share?
death and or dealing with death, or what we think happens after death. What happens when we die? That's good. That's helpful. Thank you,
Yeah.
Dino.
Love that.
I like that we're talking about what happens when we die while we're in the void.
Yeah. We're in the void, and I'm drinking chocolate milk. A grown man, so that's fun.
There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with a grown man drinking chocolate milk.
Are your eyes still dilated weirdly?
No, that only lasts for a few hours. To those who
Oh.
don't know, at my job earlier this week, they dilated one of my eyes because they were training a new tech, and she needed to practice retinal photography. So for the whole day, I looked like, if to any Homestar Runner fans out there, strong sad when they give him caffeine and one eye's like really blown up and the other one's tiny.
Well, give me a second, Atlas. You sent us a picture. Here it is. Right
Oh,
there.
okay.
You can see
Yeah.
his eye. It's a little.
Wait, that's the one from when my eyes were blown up? That's the thing you put on the syndrome?
Yeah. That was.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
His chin looks a little bit more blown up there.
A little. Well, it was a perspective thing, and
Yeah, a little bit more like Jay Leno right there.
I'm syndrome.
Wait, do you work in optometry, Atlas?
I work at an eye doctor's office. I do medical records. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Oh wow!
For a
It was
second,
one
I
of those
thought you
things-
test drugs. You
No.
get drugs pumped into you.
well, he
No.
is in LA.
$5.
He's in LA, so there is an element of that, I'm sure. Right?
Well, yeah, you're walking down the street and people are like, "Hey, man, want to try some drugs?" And you're like, "I'm in Los Angeles, so that must be the case." Yes.
Yeah,
Where are you coming to us from, John?
I'm just north of Toronto in Markham. I don't know if
Where's-
you're familiar with Markham.
No,
No.
I'm not.
30 minutes north of the city.
Okay.
Are we
Suburb.
both in Markham now, John?
Yeah, well, I've lived here forever. You've
Oh.
lived what, Richmond Hill to
Yeah.
Markham, right?
Now I'm close to you. We'll talk. We'll talk later.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm guessing this is like if I were to go, like, yeah, I went from Santa Monica to East Hollywood.
Exactly.
Like, it means nothing to you guys,
Yes,
right?
that's
yeah.
right.
I don't know how far
But-
that is, but yeah.
Yeah, we're polite Canadians, so we just go,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay."
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No idea what
Oh.
that means.
Yeah, we have
sounds
we have-
nice. Sounds
we have-
nice.
We have good public transportation, eh? So
Yeah.
Could
Not
be
really.
better.
Yeah, not
It's
really.
pretty shit.
LA's working on it. It's pretty good for east to west, but north south, you're fucked. It's like,
Is
I don't
there
get
some
it
sort
either.
of public transportation system other than a bus? Or is it
yeah,
just-
they have the Metrolink.
Yeah, there's a subway.
Goes from like the beach
Oh.
all the way into Union Station, which is like really far inland, like near downtown.
Okay.
And then a couple other directions. But like, if you want to go north of where you are, you have to take all the way to Union Station, get on another train, and then go all the way back through the valley, which is like this weird kind of V shape.
Huh.
It's not very good.
That makes
Wow.
sense.
Yeah.
That's so compelling.
Right. It sounds just
so-
about as much sense as ours does. We have a U and then a line right through the middle, which you're like,
Yeah.
I think it's some mathematical symbol, or maybe sign of the devil. I don't know, but that's all we got, and it sucks.
Yeah.
like
And they're
almost
like, oh, we're
a-
doing more, and you're like, it's not.
It's like a middle finger with a ring on it, right?
Kind of a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like
Or
one of those
something like
shitty.
that.
It's like one of those shitty bike locks. So you can just.
Yes, it's that's what it is. It's
Yeah.
a bike lock. It's a bike
That's
lock.
actually what it
It's
is,
that-
It's more accurate.
It's like that. Yeah. But what made you think about death this week, Alex? Atlas.
Hey, it's going around.
Yeah.
So my girlfriend's aunt died this week, kind of. So what happened was the aunt has a heart condition. She crashes. They bring her into the hospital, pronounce her dead. The hospital tells the family. The family starts spreading the word, like grandma tells the uncles and cousins and aunts, and the word spreads. Later in the day, they stabilize the aunt, so she's in critical condition, but she's alive.
Okay.
So now everybody who has started the grieving process goes, "Oh, I guess she's not dead." Okay, and then 6 hours later, crashes and dies again.
No.
So it's like I told this story to my dad, and he's like, "They have death whiplash." If I found out that somebody, if like one of my loved ones died,
dead.
she is dead. Yes.
Okay.
As of today.
As of
So
2
far.
days ago. So
Until
far.
they stabilize her again.
Until the zombie apocalypse. Yeah. No, but it was just one of those things where like after they were stabilized, like my girlfriend was like, I kind of want her to die again, just because like I'm used to the idea. Like I'm working on the grieving process.
That is not a good way to phrase that.
Sooner, like yeah.
Because you can handle it now. Now you know how to handle it.
Yeah, you're like
there's a lot of things you don't get a dry run for, right? Like
you don't.
You don't get like, hey, this is going to train you to be,
Mm-hmm.
It's dying and becoming the president of the United States of America. There's no lead up to those two things.
Yeah. Yeah. So it just got me thinking.
I guess if you do a ton of psychedelics, and then I heard that you have an ego death, but like I don't know, if that's comparable.
When you go to space, you're supposed to like see the pale blue marble, and you're like, whoa, nothing matters. Like it. That's kind of an ego death. Except for Jeff Bezos. He learned nothing.
Do you mean the flat square?
I believe it's a cube, sir. I think we all live on a
got a dome.
Cube. Yeah.
It's got a dome on top of it to protect us.
Right. We're on the back of a turtle, right?
You guys are idiots. It's a flat disc, man. You guys are totally wrong. You guys are wrong, and it's sad.
Whatever. You guys probably still believe in the moon. Losers.
Yeah.
I forgot which comedian has a bit about that where he like he out conspiracy theorists.
Yeah. I think that's at this point is a street joke. It's everybody's got something like that.
Yeah, the thing where it's like the moon landing was fake, man. Like, do you believe in the moon?
Yeah. Because the only way to stop crazy is to out crazy. Like someone's like, the Earth's flat. You're like, you still believe in the sky? Whatever, dude. Okay.
Yeah. We're on version 3.6 of the simulation, man. There is no moon. Yeah. There is no sky.
Okay, this is the best part about that, where you're like, we're in a simulation. Yeah, it's called life. It's all a simulation. Like we're all just pretending at what we think is supposed to happen. That's it. Like, so the idea is like, no, we're in a computer. No, we're not. Listen, the entire universe is like a giant brain, okay? Yeah. You can't, none of it makes any sense. And we're just here going, you know what I need? A job to ruin my life. That's what I need. That's how stupid
it's like, we are. The idea of like, we have to break out of the matrix, they're using us for batteries. I'm like, you guys have like decently paying jobs and are relatively enjoying yourselves without learning about the matrix. Why not just fuck it? I don't care. Like,
I would definitely be one who's put me back in the Matrix. I want to
give me that blue pill.
I had plans to go eat a new restaurant next week. I don't want to fuck that up.
Yeah, I have reservations, sir.
Yeah, exactly.
I would totally be that guy. Like, if you take the red pill, I'll show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. What happens with the blue pill again? You go back in. Well, I have reservations next week, so...
Can we meet later, or is this a one-time deal? Because that place took me like a month and a half to get a reservation.
I just got season tickets for Broadway. I just got it.
Does he give Morpheus a glass of water with the pill?
Yeah, I don't think so. He just says, swallow them dry.
Yeah, fuck you. I would be so pissed off. Like, that sounds like a Seinfeld episode almost. It's like, he gave me no water, Jerry. No water.
It was you. I left. What? You're going to give pills with no water?
Yeah.
He turns around. I had to choke myself to get the saliva going. Just to be...
Yeah.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Unless they were gel, they weren't. They look kind of gel. But even then, if you break them,
you still have to swallow them.
You
You're
can't
not
break
supposed
up a gel pill. That's that's not gonna taste right.
If it's a gummy, like a
That's
like a
different.
melatonin or a weed gummy, then fine. Like chew it all you want, but
that's candy.
Does anybody else notice that Dino's computer is thinking part of his forehead is part of the background?
yeah,
But just part.
I can't stop looking at it.
Yeah.
You get a dent in your head
Here,
there.
I'll do that. There you go.
Do you have
there you go.
Did you
Magic.
paint part of your forehead?
No, I don't know why that keeps on happening, and I have to mess with the filter a little bit, and it usually works. But then, yeah, I don't know. I'm like barely figuring out technology, and I can just do stuff like this. Just hey, there we go.
Pipes!
Pipes.
Yeah.
Just
Dino's the
No.
simulation. We figured.
I am the simulation. I have a
Speaking-
gravitational pull and everything. It's great.
Speaking of the Z Matrix, have you guys seen the trailer for the new Matrix movie?
I
Yeah.
haven't.
I get what they're doing. It should be interesting.
Do you know what's interesting is that what this makes me believe is that even in the original Matrix, the real world was just another level to the Matrix. Like even that wasn't real.
That's not. I don't think you're right there. I'm pretty sure you're wrong, and I am so happy to one up you on this. It's gonna be great.
Explain.
Explain.
The
So
plot.
it actually looks like somewhere okay, so the whole idea at the end of the Matrix was specifically that humans were allowed to live and they were going to try and live just separately in the real world. That's what was going to happen. But when they took Neo, nobody knows what happened to him. So what it seems like is he's been put back into the simulation. See how in the trailer there's a new Morpheus, so he's back in the simulation running through it again, but not necessarily as his character.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know.
Okay. And so that's Dino's theory. My theory, which I like better, is that what happened afterwards is that they created a new, nicer simulation for the humans.
John Wick.
But that in this simulation, Keanu Reeves, Neo is incarnated as Keanu Reeves, and then so he just like goes through and does his own movies. And do you notice like in the trailer there is the movie The Matrix being played at a drive-in?
Is there really?
Yeah, that's why I'm saying like they created
fun.
a new version, so it's just layers upon layers. But what I saw this video that pointed out in the original Matrix. Did you guys like remember that Neo has powers in the real world?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what makes me think that like even that was just like another level of the simulation, and so like that even the real world was just like that's why they just kept doing it again. They let the humans that tried to wake up into their own other version of a simulation, which was just really shitty, where they had to like wear all gray clothes and stuff.
This just sounds like Inception.
It's possible.
But the other
It
way.
is.
Instead of going deeper, you're going up. Like
Yeah,
you're zooming out.
yeah.
No.
Yeah, I don't
Still
even
the
see
same
it
thing,
as up or so much as outside, where it's like concentric rings.
Yeah. I'm just annoyed that they didn't call the third Matrix movie Matrix Out of Bullets. Like, you called the second one Reloaded. Come on, that writes itself.
That was horrible.
I know. I wrote it in third grade. So
we have some drum sets here.
Yeah. Is there a
for the rim shot?
Yeah, the rim shots.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Brought to you by Dr. Hassel Snowcock MD.
And you're not even one of the hosts here, are you, Dino?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
hack in? Oh, you.
No.
Yeah, the three of us are. It's Gen X, Dino, I'm Millennial, and Nick's Gen Z.
Yeah.
And then,
I'm the one that's old as shit and just complains constantly. And I definitely shit on Nick, which I think that's the whole community. And I think it's not just me. So people tune in to watch that because
Appreciate
realistically, it's nice. He got thin and now he thinks he's better than us. And I'm like, nah, I'm going to bring you back down, son. I'm going to bring you back to my level.
Look at that.
and then I'm somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Being thin's overrated because why am I so depressed all the time?
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Well, how can you be depressed after the show we did the other night, John?
Yeah.
what happened the other night.
So why don't you explain the show, John, and then I'll explain what happened soon
We'll
into the
explain
show.
the break-in.
This ought to be
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
So this was a show for a real estate friend, and it was like for friends and family of the real estate family and all that. So good lineup of comics, solid lineup of comics, Toronto comics
On Zoom.
And the link was shared just for the people who registered, and then we shared a little bit manually, So it was a private room. It was a private room, but you can share the link with anybody. So whoever has their hands on the link, they can get in. So
I know where this is going.
Now is when it kind of escalates and kind of just confuses the shit out of me.
Yeah. So like shortly into John starting, he's saying it, like the ground rules and stuff, and then sorry, who went first? It was
Rebecca.
It was Rebecca. So right as Rebecca's like I don't know, a minute or something into her set, someone's like it comes up on the Zoom like on their phone, but like driving a car.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like he pulls into a spot and then he just goes on full volume and gets pulled out of the car, and 4 people get in the car in masks and then drive off.
What? No.
Yeah. So and then so half the audience is like, what the fuck, and the other half of us are like, why would you spend your time doing this prank? Like, and then so they just leave. Or we boot them from the meeting, and then we're just like get back on track, and then it was so weird. And then soon after that, there's 3 other people in the meeting, all like kids in their like I don't know late teens, whatever. And one of them goes on full volume, starts dancing to like a stupid song. And then soon after that, the last kid just goes on full volume, and this is where I was like really, really disappointed, because like the second kid, creative, like dancing, whatever. Then the third one comes up, just goes on the mic, just screams, "I'm fucking gay," and then leaves himself. Yeah,
that's a little bit of a low nut.
What a shitty finishing act! Like, I hope they're friends.
Weirdest
like, and that they were like, because like, who coordinated this? That you're leaving "I'm fucking gay" as last.
Yeah,
so,
I'm so disappointed.
Why
open
with kidnapping?
Yeah,
that's a closing move.
Yeah,
you close with kidnapping. Right?
That's so cool. That's at least there's some effort put in. There's a bit of choreography, but I couldn't see them. Yeah,
because you were only focused on the spotlight, right?
Yeah, I was spotlighting. I was focusing on who to put on next, and I screwed it up.
Oh my
because
God,
otherwise, I would have played along, because that's an Easter egg. Because if somebody breaks in, they actually have a script ready and something to do. Like, that's cool. Sure, I'd boot him out, then lock it.
I have a couple of like questions in my head. Like, I hope it was live, and it wasn't like a recording of the kidnapping. But if it was live, like, do they do this often?
I feel like you would have to practice.
Yeah. And are they doing it multiple times in a row where they're like, okay, guys, we got to reset.
Yeah.
Gotta reset. We're back to 1. Yeah.
Yeah. Back from 1. Gary, make sure you put like a moat a little more. I need you to emote.
Yeah.
Also, interesting choice. 2 of them were wearing pink balaclavas. 2 of them were wearing black.
That just shows a lack of coordination. It's
Yeah.
not like,
well,
if you all had different
2,
colors,
right?
fair.
Yeah.
But you can't go half black, half pink. It's just too much.
I think you can. If it's 3 and 1, then it's a problem. I think if you have 2 and 2, all different or all the same, you're fine.
And think about I'm just thinking about the aftermath of when they finish. Like, they're like when they get kicked out of the meeting or whatever, and then they're just like, yeah.
Yeah, well, like,
I think it's high fives all around. High fives all around. Beers on Gary. Like,
I think high fives while a circle jerk. Like, it's definitely like, yeah, just touch my wiener. Like, I really definitely feel like that's very peculiar. You know?
How
like,
do
how
you
do you
think
win?
these guys were? I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like this is the problem, and we've talked about this, is that people no longer are told, hey, you're dumb. Just get a job as an accountant, maybe a plumber. That's fine. Like, you're not unskilled. You're just not smart enough to change knowledge. And like, people, they're like, I'm going to prank a Zoom call. Like, really? I was on an all-woman show, which was weird to start off with. And
I've done
you were
shows like that
performing
before.
on
They're
it?
fun.
well,
Yeah.
I was interviewed. It was a woman's podcast about like women's subjects, and they're like, "Do you want to come on?" And I'm like,
Cool.
I look like the type of guy who says the word broads regularly, and I
Yeah.
do. So I don't think that's
And I
like,
do.
yeah, like that's not. I was like, yeah, sure, and you know, I was pretty tame and everything, but then they're like, oh, we have a couple people coming to watch. A couple people came, and then one person came on, and so he's in a full like Guy Fawkes mask with a hoodie, and then
Oh, hey, like
wearing
our
all
episode
black.
about Guy Fawkes.
Oh, he's and then all of a sudden he changes his background to a guy with a massive dong, like just like this size dick. Okay,
Was it a black guy sitting on the edge of the bed?
no, not one of those. This
No?
was just, you only saw like legs and dong, like, and it was just massive.
Oh, hard.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Well, I
graphic.
assume as much because it was. Otherwise, it's just hard to wear pants if it's just normally like that, right?
Yeah. Could be a
Sure
condition.
enough, they were like, "Oh, why would you do that?" I'm like, "I have questions. Like, if my dick was that big, I wouldn't wear pants. I would just walk around. I'm like, yeah, look at my giant dick. That's it. Like, so it's like you trying to show people that. I don't understand why you would do something like that. It's very peculiar.
Must be on display.
Just
So
saying.
did he break into the Zoom? Was it a Zoom or was it,
It was
a podcast?
a Zoom. Yeah, it was a Zoom podcast. So it was not as fancy as we've become, but it was just and this is the thing, is a lot of people on Zoom don't spotlight, and I'm like, it's so all they have to do is make a sound, and boom, suddenly they're the big screen, and then they're like, look at this giant wiener. And I'm like, okay, that's a big wiener. I'm like, what do you want to talk about?
Yeah.
One time I had to do a Zoom show where they weren't doing the spotlight thing, and I farted loud enough where it. I was like, no!
Man.
Oh my god!
You know what? I will burp and like try and like, I'll move my mic away and then burp, and it still goes to me, and I'm like, yeah,
spotlight. It's important. Yeah.
Well, it's just it creates a uniform experience, right? If the camera's always just randomly going to different people, you're just standing there going, I don't know. What are we going to do, right?
Of course, yeah. Like, I haven't been able to test this with anyone, but since we're on the subject, like, can you hear this? Can you hear me burp?
Yeah.
Yeah, go on.
I don't...
Yeah.
You could hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, because I want to be able to call someone and say, can you hear this? Because I'm in meetings and I have to burp, because that's how life works. But I don't know what's going through, and I don't know if even covering it. Can you hear me now?
Barely.
Very faintly. You gotta get a good grip.
Like almost crush it.
Yeah.
Like,
Can't hear me? Can't hear me?
Yeah.
I can hear you
I
clearly.
can hear you.
Yeah.
I
You know
think it
what you
depends on the angle too.
like
There might be a mute button on your
on your screen.
on your thing, or on the actual mouthpiece, like a little button.
See, there's a couple little holes here where the sound goes through in the microphone, right? So I think just covering those should be enough.
Yes.
That reduces it. It doesn't stop completely though.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. See, this is then I can
Well,
I
what
can
you
guarantee
should
that
do-
I've burped, that I've farted, and people have heard. Because I think I heard a little bit of that. I heard
If
that.
you take a paper clip and you like wind it in like almost like a tube, and then you put it around it, it'll create like a mini Faraday cage.
Hey.
And then
What the hell's a Faraday cage?
What the fuck? Like, you fucking jackass.
No,
Okay?
that's not generations.
That
That's
is generations.
science.
You know why? Because in
That's
my
science.
day, that they would just be like, just fucking buy the right thing and you'll be fine. See, mine has a mute button where angle,
Yeah.
but then you turn it back on,
Yeah.
right? And this guy's like doing a Faraday cage.
Yeah,
That is for communication of a signal, you rat bastard.
yes,
know what-
it blocks
else
the
works?
connection of us, and it just prevents
Yeah,
anything
or
from
you can
getting
just hit
through.
the mute button at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, like it's
You
not.
want to be muted though, and not them know that you're muted. That's the key.
You know
Yeah,
what, Dino?
so
You're
it's
a piece of, and I just don't want to deal with
You're
you
a
right
piece of
now. Okay.
hamburger.
That's
I mean-
accurate. Again, that's true.
The
I'm a
easiest-
piece of shit, man.
You can
I'm
do it
poor.
the South Park way and get like a cardboard cutout of yourself where it looks like you're frozen.
Yeah, sure. That's not right.
No. See what I mean? But, like,
I've done that. People are like, "Is Dino
Yeah.
frozen?" I'm like, "No, I'm still here. I just don't move." I'm like, "I'm fat. I don't move.
Yeah.
That's what I do."
But that's not a bad idea to like if you can, because you would have to like print a picture of yourself, either that or wear the same
It's not
shirt
necessary.
every day.
Dino
right?
just has more inertia than most beings.
Hey, listen, friction
Inertia, like the
destroys my
Kool-Aid
clothing.
Man.
Okay, friction
Yeah.
destroys my clothing. That's just. I'm like, the less I move, the longer it lasts. It's fair.
Okay, John, I don't know if you experienced this because you're thin. Nick, probably not. You too. Do you know what chub rub is?
Yes.
Yeah.
I know it. I know Dino knows what it is.
In between
guys
the
know what
thighs,
chub rub
maybe.
is.
I have large thighs. Yeah.
It's when your thighs rub together and then that wears down like your pants to the point where it's just
Okay.
nothing.
Yeah.
I've gotten that.
That's
I've gotten
that's
that
a
'cause I do
offensive term.
It's the only
Okay,
reason I
it's
buy
offensive.
new jeans.
Yeah. No, really, yeah. They're perfect. They're just a hole in your crotch.
Yeah.
That you got to either patch it up or it just disintegrates. Because I
Yeah.
have pretty thick thighs.
Or you got to
I
like
just wear it with
awkwardly
pride.
cross your legs every time you're sitting down. You're like,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
The key is when you walk to lumber from side to side,
Yeah.
and that way, you know.
And then
I get a lot of that baby
get a
rash.
guy with a tuba to follow you around.
I would honestly, if I had fuck you money, I would definitely hire somebody and be like, walk every time I leave the house.
Why not?
That'd be great. And listen, if somebody did that to me as a prank, I'd be like, let's go show more people. Like I would, that'd be the greatest thing ever. And I can really put on the lumber and just dum. You know.
Stop it!
What would you do?
I have a glandular problem. I'm just trying to live my life.
I bought an ab flex.
See, what would you do now? Circling back to the topic, if your tuba player all of a sudden just had a heart attack and dropped dead, what would you do in that situation?
Eat them.
Why would I eat him?
What the fuck, Nick?
All right, let's explore this a little bit.
Generation
Living with some
Dan
guys
Coming from
recently.
Nick Mouth
Yeah.
Pleasure Fernandez.
Mouth
He
Pleasure.
says eat him.
So you
Oh
moved
my
out. You've
God.
been living with some guys. This is correlated.
Yeah. What would you do, Dino?
Keep on walking. Put a want
That
ad
sounds
out? Not my
like-
problem. That is
And
a
then
contract
just-
employee. I give him no
Just the
health care.
wheezes of him slowly dying is what's
Listen,
accompanying you.
I feel like the life of a tubist can be difficult, and that's gonna happen. You know? Are you kidding me? I would try and mess with him. I would be like, I would all of a sudden start to run, just change the pace, just to mess with him. Yeah, and he'd fall down. Yeah, he falls
We just
down.
look around. Everyone who witnessed it. Any trumpet players around? Trumpet? Anyone?
I played
Move
trumpet
on.
4th or 7th grade.
I did play trumpet as well.
Why
yeah.
did you quit?
I finished high school.
I quit because, and I quote, it didn't get me any chicks.
That was
I
the
don't
problem.
think any
That
of
was the problem.
the brass section is gonna get you chicks.
Yeah, well, there's that, and I was
I
in
mean-
7th grade. No one's getting chicks in 7th grade unless they're
Also,
like,
I mean,
well,
in
it's
terms of-
LA. You guys start in like 5th grade, right? So
probably.
Bunch of
Within
weirdos.
bands, like hierarchy, like trumpet is like up there. It's like one of it's like you're like top two probably in the band. Like if you're first chair, like in
Yeah.
terms of like importance. But but if you're like fourth trumpet, like no one gives a fuck about you, like because you
I've
can't even
always
hear
wanted to
you
be
in
band,
the song.
So you guys were in band. Like you
I
guys
was.
did band.
fucking
Yeah.
losers.
I
I always wanted to be in band. I was like,
No, you wanted to play drums or guitar that get you
I
some
did.
tank, okay?
I
did.
played bass in bands. That's
I wanted to.
yeah.
Now I do play drums, but now I'm actually a loser because all the things I couldn't do as a kid, now I'm doing and just having
Yeah.
fun.
Welcome to adulthood.
Yeah.
Nick will join you soon. As soon as he he shaves off that horrible goatee. And
Rapes
learns
off
that
the
a man wears a beard, sir, or nothing at all.
It is a beard. It
That's
goes all
not
the
a
way to the
beard.
sides,
That's
but-
not a beard.
Come on, give him some time. He'll get there.
That's like a
It's
lightning bolt in the side of your head. Get out of here with that. Okay,
It's
a
a
man's
Fraser
beard.
beard.
Uh,
He's
I
auditioned
went to
for the
school with
Prince of
guys who
Persia.
had lightning bolts, guy.
I gotta get a haircut. Speaking of
Yeah,
which,
no,
that's,
the neck beard's just not a good look on me, and
No, it's
it
not.
doesn't go up far enough on the sides yet. So
No.
that's what you
Feel
get.
you.
Clean shaven is a look. That's fine.
No, I look a little weird with like no hair. It's because it's so jarring from the rest of my body. Like
Yeah.
just to be clean shaven here. Like,
Is it the kind of thing where, like, if you shave, people are like, I want to card you not just for alcohol, but for like literally anything else you buy because you're
no, I don't look very young when I shave. But that being said, I actually don't. It's been like several years since I saw my upper lip. Like it's been like
right
probably.
No, but for real, like
underneath here, it's probably been I want to say at least 2.5 years.
You trim it though. You trim it down.
No, I like it a little bit thicker up here, but like I trim underneath so it doesn't go in my mouth.
Go in your mouth, yeah. That's the worst. Yeah. Or when it you also got to trim at the top because otherwise it starts growing into your nose. You're like, oh god, fuck this. I have to sneeze all the time. Screw that.
A little bit of manicuring that needs to happen. But
if we were popular enough, this episode would be brought to you by Manscaped, but it's not. So Manscaped, if you want to sponsor us. All of us have facial hair.
Yeah. Do they have a lawnmower edition for Nick's? Just...
The idea of using like a clipper on your balls, though, that does sound very scary to me. I've never used one of those.
This is another time I love being married. I'm like, why would I even bother?
That sounds terrifying.
I think just because it like it gets pulled on by like your undies and the pants and fuck that.
Buy better underwear.
Yeah, I clear cut the forest every once in a while, but I don't shave it down to nothing. Just
I'm with you on that. What I don't like is the ass hair and the ass crack hair, because like it's a whole production to even trim it down, and then when it grows back, you're like, I got to do this again. Then I just have to work myself up to do that because it's inefficient.
You're just like leaned over and like spreading your. It's humiliating.
There's that, but also like the point of ass hair is it kind of like insulates your farts. So like,
how much ass hair do you have, Alice? Oh my god!
I have a fair amount.
Me too.
Like,
yeah.
I have.
Maybe this
I
isn't
have
a problem
like.
For you, Dino.
I have my dad's side hair, so
I have just the right amount of hairy. That it does not like. I have hairy arms, but not like hairy arms. And I'm like, I can grow a full beard, but not. Yeah.
My arm's got a 5 o'clock shadow. You see that?
That's okay. I don't know what I would do if my wife was like, "Hey, you need to shave your butthole." I would be like, "What?"
Yeah.
No, it's not going to happen.
You have a reasonable wife.
I'm not flexible enough. That's just not like.
Yeah.
I would have to get my butthole shaved. I'm not. No thanks.
But like,
I'm happy to not have to deal with that.
I don't like shaving down there. I was made for the 70s, I guess. Like, I just don't like it. I like a little bit of the natural flavor.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm lazy. I don't know.
No, but like,
every man is.
Like, you know how everyone's always the man. I wish I grew up in the 70s. What you want to like see Led Zeppelin in their prime? No, I just want to not have to shave.
Yeah, no, exactly.
That's how lazy men are.
And be okay looking like a serial killer. Because when my hair grows long, my beard grows long, I might as well be.
Well, here's the thing. Like, you're like, hey, you look like a serial killer. You're like, false. I do not look like Ted Bundy, who is running amok right now. So, better, I guess. But
I don't know. Like my parents, I see photos of them when they're kids in the 70s, and they're like, everyone just looks like so just an inch away from just going psycho. Like they just you think that looks good on you, that long hair on someone who doesn't have good long hair.
Long hair and glasses that are tinted in the sun, and you're like, that is dodgy. Oh yeah, it's like this, and you're just like. Yeah. What are you, a Kardashian or something? Why is it covering half your face?
Yeah.
You're on the run? Yeah, no.
With the amount of cocaine that my mom was presumably doing while going to Studio 54, I think. She was like I was talking to her a few weeks ago, and she's like, something when I was at Studio 54. I'm like, what is that? You went to Studio 54? She's like, yeah. I just went and disco danced. I'm like, so you were...
No. That is not how the story went.
Yeah.
I went, did some dancing, and then left.
I'm like, nah. Like, you were probably doing all the drugs. Like, my dad told me about the time he did mushrooms and the ceiling looked like lava. Because...
As one does.
I'm an adult, he has Parkinson's, and he doesn't give a fuck anymore. It's amazing. I'm getting, like, all these, like, cool stories from the 70s when my parents were definitely not doing the responsible thing. So that's fun.
Nice.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that your parents used to be people.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, but this is the problem. Is as soon as they're people, then you picture them doing things that other people do, and that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's when your parents die as parents. Then they just become people.
This is the problem. Like I was the youngest of 5, so my mom was 32, my dad was almost 40 when they had me, and so I always knew them as old people, whereas my siblings knew them as young, right?
Yeah.
Like it was different. So it was definitely a different relationship. But I got to hear some of those fun stories as the time approached for my dad. But that's the problem. Is I don't think that people hide who they actually are from their kids on purpose.
Of course,
right?
Because you can't be like, I was doing Studio 54, and you're like, I'm in 2nd grade right now. Thanks for telling me that.
Well, why not tell them? Is it because number one, kids talk about everything. Everything they hear is going to come out of their mouth, and it's not going to be accurate, right? Like that's definitely what's going to happen. So.
That happened this week with my girlfriend. She's a kindergarten teacher, and one of her kids, just during playtime, went, "My dad has a gun, and it's because the dad hunts, and he's got guns in a vault, in another vault, in a shed somewhere. But the kid vaguely knows that there is a gun that he uses to hunt deer or whatever.
That could be taken any which way.
Yeah, but the second, so kid tells other kids tell their parents are like, "What the fuck?" And then
and that's hilarious.
Yeah,
it's so hilarious.
I have so many stories like that. As a kid, I would just spread the most obscene lies, and they would stick because kids are stupid, and I knew that as a stupid kid myself. I was at least self-aware. That's what I had going for me.
Good job.
That's fair.
How old were your parents when they had you?
Me?
Yeah.
They were, I guess, like similar to Dino. They're 36 and close to 40. And,
okay, so like Dino and I, because my parents were 41 and 42.
41 and 42. Yeah, that is a second try. Like, let's be honest. Like at that point, you're like, that's not a first effort. That's hey, we've learned some stuff. Let's try this.
I mean, I was the second kid, so makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so self-aware,
super
kid.
young. Yeah.
How old were your parents, Nick?
My mom was 23 when they got married, and had my sister at 25 and me at 27. My dad's 5 years older than her, so I guess
okay.
He would have been 32 when I was born.
Nick, that would have been like if I had a kid right now.
Yeah.
That's uncomfortable.
You're like, what?
That's the terms I put it into. I compare. I'm like, what?
Welcome to the world, poop and vomit machine. This is my Ozzy Osbourne painting.
Yeah.
Not for long.
It's
going to be their crayon area.
I'm looking at, like, my dad was 3 years older than me when he got married. Like, that's
you now.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
My mom got married last year in my years.
Wow.
Which is, but it's different. It's a generational thing, I think. They didn't have many options. They didn't have many options, and it was easy. It was like, hey, you guys are going to get married? Sure.
Dude, my sister did that math the other day. She like had a meltdown because she was just like comparing herself to my mom. Because my mom literally, this would happen. She graduated from teachers college on the Friday, and she got married on the Saturday.
What? That's too many like big events at once.
Your mom might be a sadist. Day. Like she's like, I feel like pressure should be all lumped in together. Let's just do it all one weekend.
Well, you know what's crazy is that they booked their hall before they got engaged, I think.
What kind of power move is that? Was that
did they or did she or did he?
Well, I think what happened is they discussed like that they were like getting to that point, and then like that was going to be the next step they were going to go down, and they were like, this is a really nice spot that became available because I think someone else in their circle was getting married or doing the reception at this spot, and they were like, they book up like years in advance, like, do you want this date? Like 2 years from now, and
so transactional almost.
Yeah, it was just like, it was almost like, like when you put like your grandmother on a wait list for a home, you're like, I don't know if she's gonna need it, But we want to have
planning.
that option.
Yeah, we're planning.
Yeah.
We're responsible. We're planning in
Yeah.
advance.
Yeah.
Because
Like,
we're
and
organized.
then my dad was like, at that point, he that's when he decided not to take the red pill because he had the reservation.
Yeah, exactly. Like a lot of our parents.
Yeah.
That's horrible. Oh,
Yeah,
man.
strange.
I was married at 21, 22, somewhere around there. And then divorced by 25, 26, something like that. And then Victoria was 2007. And then we've been with her forever. Yeah, I would be having my 5th kid if I was my dad at this point, which me as a parent at all is like, that kid's either going to be like a good person, like they're going to be either a great person or they're going to be this. Like this, they're definitely going to be a supervillain.
That was a different image, if I'm correct.
I made 2 of them. Yeah.
I had beard and then no beard. I said, I'm not sure. I feel like this face really conveys a lot, but at the same time, it doesn't really match.
Okay, to anybody who's listening to this, if you want to see what I look like in both of those images, at Generation Dan on Twitter. I sent them out. I'll retweet them the week this episode goes live.
Absolutely. Nice. Well, realistically, you can even send messages to us privately.
I believe.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
God, that killed me.
Send us an email.
Yeah.
Send us an email.
GenerationDanPod@gmail.
And that will be it's since it's Gmail, that picture will be our contact photo.
Fuck you. I was just gonna have our logo. No.
I would rather have our logo, but like I'm sure we could add it onto the signature, like an auto response. Thank you for messaging us. Take this picture and enjoy.
But the icon on Gmail, when you see it, for the most part, it's so small. Like you wouldn't see most of the writing on the logo, but you would see that face because I'm going to see that face in my nightmares.
Yeah, no, that's...
It's good. It pops, It's like orangey, lightning.
Yeah. There's lightning.
It's like, what is that?
An expectation.
And then one of my eyes is super dilated. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I don't understand why you don't like this. We're saying you're a successful inventor.
With an island and amazing technology.
It's just one of those things where it's like, God damn it! It's
you never should have told us that.
You're Elon.
I'm not the one who came up with it. I'm not the one who came up with it. A bunch of LA comedians. It's been a thing in the city. They're like, hey, have you heard of Atlas Novak? And they're like, who? They're like, the guy who looks like Syndrome. Oh, okay. Like it's either that or the guy with the bit about the therapist. That's the thing that stuck to me, which is fine. I'm okay with that.
LA people are mean.
Yeah.
They're mean, and
LA is a city full of 7th graders. It is one of the meanest cities. Because New York is its own kind of mean, where they're mean to your face, and you're like, oh, okay, cool. LA, they're mean, and it's behind your back. It's rumors and blacklisting and blackmail and 7th graders.
You make it sound so
sexy,
fun. Yeah.
Please let me move to Canada and live with you guys.
That reminds me.
Why not?
I think it's a Hannah Montana song where when she goes to California and she's like, "This is what dreams are made of," or whatever. Or is that fucking?
I don't even know what the fuck your generations for that. What the fuck is that?
Oh my god!
Yeah,
I had a crush on Hannah Montana once upon a time.
Yeah.
Well, I think 12 years old. At 12 years old, I would just watch.
How old are you, John?
Guess how old I am.
24.
Hey, that's a pretty good guess. I'm 26.
Oh, not bad.
Soon to be 26.
All right,
pretty close.
So you're about in my camp, but
what are you, 94, John?
I'm 95.
You're 95. Okay.
You're 96 or 7?
I'm in 96.
And then
I'm 94.
Okay, so we are there. And Dino, you're 93.
Years old.
Can you imagine 93 and I had this face? Like, oh my god. I'm aging like a tomato.
No, I was born in 1993. Wait. You look terrible. You look terrible.
What are you, Dino?
Funny. I'm 1980.
80. Nice.
Yeah.
See, I like talking to people like you because you just had a cool, just know good cars, good music.
Yeah.
Good movies.
You formed a personality before social media became a
Yeah.
thing.
I had to I actually was good at public speaking at a young age and stuff like that. Whereas I enjoy communication face to face, and people are like, "What?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, that for me. Like a good handshake, like it was something I mastered over years and years and years, and now it's completely fucking useless."
Right, because back in the '80s, you could get an apartment for like $6 in a firm handshake. That's
Listen, that's how it was.
Trust.
My parents would, when they would look at places to rent, they would keep the kids in the car, just in case, because people didn't want to have people rent. They didn't want to rent to people with kids.
Right.
So when I was born was when they bought their first house in Brampton. And that was just starting. Like there was Brampton was far. It was in the boonies in comparison to Toronto, and
they
there wasn't
didn't
even a
want
highway connecting
anyone to know that they had kids, so like they had you gagged up until you were 3.
No. No. When they bought their own house, you can have whoever you want in your own house. You dipshit. You'll never know because you'll never be able to afford a house.
True.
I have to eat my ass. How about that? Okay.
Congratulations, man.
Wow, that's like that's the most kicking them while you're down generation.
Yeah. Did you just say you have 2? You piece of shit.
Yeah. Fuck you. That's.
Hey man,
you have assets? How dare you?
I am liquidating, but hey, that's all right.
Well, I wanted to ask you though. Sorry, Atlas. You go.
No. Go ahead and answer, Larry.
I just wanted to circle back, and it's interesting. Dino, you got married at 21.
Yeah, my first wife.
Yeah, that was your first wife.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, how'd you know her? Because it didn't work out.
That's an awkward conversation. Okay, so
I tried.
You can just tell me long story short, but I'm just because you were so young, and like at 21, I would
I grew up very religious. I was a Jehovah's Witness. So no sex before marriage. Everyone got married young, right? Like that was just kind of how things were. We were stuck in before times, right? So it kind of you
wanted to
you know how with Catholics there are Catholics, and then they're like crazy enthusiastic Catholics, and the Catholics who are not really anything, right?
Yeah.
Whereas with Jehovah's Witnesses, you either are or you aren't,
You're
right?
full
So there
throttle.
aren't, there's no, it's a smaller community. So you kind of knew what you were getting into. You had the same standards. My ex-wife just decided to be a whore. So happens.
Getting cheated on is not fun.
Well, you know what? Realistically, I can definitely say that I wasn't a pleasure to be around. I'm a pretty harsh person at times, and being that age, you don't really realize how that affects people around you. And I've grown as a person. I still, look back on those times poorly at a lot, just because, simply put, it wasn't a great time in my life either, right? And I'm no longer Jehovah's Witness. I stopped everything, and I don't see my family much, anything like that, and I just decided I just didn't enjoy the person I was. After my first divorce, I decided not to lie, and I just don't. And my perspective is, why would I waste the sin on lying when I can use that same sin for murder? I feel like that's that's much more beneficial. So it was a different community, and that's why a lot of the times, being Greek, we hung out with Greeks, right? Mm-hmm. So there was always one of my brothers was talking a lot with another girl, and they knew that my dad knew their dad, and we would go to Greek events and stuff. So we always we knew this community, right? Yeah, so that guy, the girl's dad, went to my dad and was like, "Hey, so are we gonna do this? Like old school, where we're joining businesses kind of thing." Yeah. And my dad is like, "It's up to them. We're not getting involved." And the guy was like, "What?" Because this guy had 5 daughters.
Yeah. He's got a schedule.
He needed to make a deal.
Oh yeah, he was like, this is organized. It's I gotta pawn them off proper. And they were actually really good. They're a nice family, really good looking ladies. And my brother decided to go another way. And it was weird. It was weird. But that's the thing, is that was all happening when we were really, really young. And this was a different time, right? So and even still, like all of my siblings are married, happily married for 20 plus years, right? I was the only one who got a divorce, and I'm the shame of the family.
Is most of your family still in the
Yeah.
the JWs?
They all are. Well, my
Hmm.
direct family. Nobody else in the family is.
Okay.
Interesting.
So both
Even
your
the
parents are
siblings
Greek.
as well?
All of my siblings are, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Your parents are both Greek?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I did
they,
not know that there were Greek Jehovah's Witnesses.
well, yeah.
It's a very small community.
Yeah.
Were they raised Orthodox?
Yep.
Greek Orthodox? Okay,
Yeah.
so then they became they
So
got into it.
my dad had a thirst for knowledge, and one of the
Mhm.
things that was forbidden when he was young was having a relationship with God. Like, you couldn't own a Bible when he was a kid.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Remember, and the thing is, like, things were very different, especially in Europe during that time, right? So
Yeah.
on your identification,
You
it would
relied
have
on
your
the
religion.
priest to give you the information?
That's how it was, right? Like, remember,
Okay.
it's the same idea behind. Remember, Greece was occupied by the Nazis, right? Like, they got destroyed. The first thing, whenever you
Mhm.
have an occupying force in a country, the first thing you do is you destroy their knowledge. So records, documents, government buildings, those all get burned to the ground and just gutted, right?
Redo the education system, all that stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So and remember, it wasn't.
Mhm.
So what a lot of people forget was that Greeks revolted and were no longer slaves only 40 years before that happened in the United States. Right.
Right.
So Greece were enslaved for 400 years by the Ottoman Empire.
Mhm.
Then got freedom. Then the war hit, had everything destroyed again. Right. It's quite like, to this day, if you go to the Parthenon, they have cannons at the top that were loaded up there, and there's actually a little plaque in a bunker that says, like, on this date was the last time that the Nazi flag flew from here because it was occupied, and it was pulled down and replaced with a Greek flag. Right. Like, it's quite emotional, but that's a
Yeah.
different community. It's a different existence. So when
Yeah.
it came to my dad, he had a thirst for knowledge and to have a relationship with God, right? So that was like, he bought his first Bible, and it was like he was walking around with porn, like it was in a dark paper bag, and he had it tucked into his shirt.
Yeah.
Like,
And he
Forbidden.
bought it at a porn shop.
probably it masqueraded as a porn. It's Greece, right? It's like, yeah, we have pornography, but come in here for the Bible. So like, that's
He dresses up as Mrs. Doubtfire to go in and buy it.
exactly. Like, it's totally different. Remember, and that's the thing is,
All
in
right,
Greece,
so I want you to start off like stroking real slow when you get to Eve, and I want you to get all the way there by the time you hit
That's
Mary
horrible.
Magdalene. All right, like.
So, but yeah,
Yeah.
so it was when they came here, like those kind of things, like it was different principles. And my dad is the youngest of like 13 kids, and I'm the youngest of 5. So I'm very generationally displaced. Like, the principles I was raised with are stuff from like the 60s.
Right.
That's what I learned, right?
Because you
So
got he was at the bottom
For
end
sure.
of that
Yeah.
generation.
The
while
youngest of the
teaching.
youngest is very weird. Like, both my parents were the youngest of 5 and 6, and I'm the youngest of 2.
yeah,
So the difference between me and my oldest cousin is like football
Yeah.
fields away from each other.
so I'm the youngest of all the cousins because my dad was the youngest, and the oldest, he's the same age as my mom, or like a year off, and like his kids that are doctors are like, they all refer to me as uncle. And like, even when I would go to Greece, I was like 10 years old, and they're like, "Oh, this is my uncle," and they're like drinking, and I'm like, "Hi, I have a juice." Like, I'm a little kid. So it's it's weird that way, but yeah, that's what happened. But even with
I gotta go
Victoria,
home. I gotta babysit my uncle.
Yeah.
Is your uncle
that
Benjamin
literally
Button?
happened.
Yeah.
It was 1986. We went to Greece. There was a wedding, and we got taken home. Somebody had to babysit us because we were falling asleep on the chairs. That actually happened.
That's
Oh
funny, man.
gosh, that's
It's like
so-
Modern Family, the difference in age.
Oh,
Somebody
it's-
remarries.
I'm in
Listen.
a weird spot too because my mom is the youngest of 3, but my grandparents on my Italian side, they had my mom and her siblings like later on because they were my nonna weren't around each other because of the war. So like my nonna ended up going to England and spent like the war there, and he was still back in Italy. And then they ended up like agreeing to come to Canada together, and they ended up getting married here. But like they had my and because they were older when they had my mom, like generationally, when I was young, I went to so many funerals because like the generation like in that my grandparents are part of, like that. I think with Italians, like cancer hits them earlier, like in their like 60s and 70s type of thing.
Yeah, most
because the number of people like that were dying in their 70s, like that whose funeral I went to, like I got so comfortable at funerals that I knew the funeral homes in Toronto. Like I was like, oh, we're going to Fratelli Vecchio. They got killer pastries in the coffee room. They have such good cookies.
That is such an Italian thing, though.
I just love the idea of you get there and be
Silver
like,
lining.
hey, what's going on, Giuseppe? And they're like, hey, Nick, we're good to see you again.
Well, you know,
pretty much.
Nick had a spot.
It legitimately, like funeral homes are fun times.
Social
for the most part.
Yeah.
If you're not a part of the immediate family, like if you're like one cousin removed, you go to a funeral home and you're like, this is gonna be a good time. Because you're going to run into your cousins, you're going to be like, hey, how's it going? And then you end up having like a great conversation over coffee. But
yeah, kind of cool.
You ever get in trouble for having too fun of a time when you see all your cousins at the wrong place?
Oh, yeah.
That's happened a few times to me, and I'm like, this is not appropriate. Don't give a shit. Whatever.
Did somebody slap you on the head and say, hey,
it's a funeral. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
It's,
Did I tell you the time I almost passed out, like, from laughing in a church?
No. Do tell.
So it was my mom's uncle's funeral. So it was my nonna's sister brother-in-law that passed away, and so we're at this funeral, and it right in the front row is all of the nonni, right? Like just 8 to 9 in a row of just like elderly Italian women in their 80s or 90s, just lined up, right? Yeah. And then so it was an Italian mass for this because that's what the wife chose, and the priest, however, who was doing the Italian mass was Brazilian. So my mom like leans over to tell me that like he's speaking Italian with a Brazilian accent. So it's really difficult to understand, apparently. And so what happened was I look over at my mom and she starts like laughing and I'm like, what, why is she giggling? And then she's like, look. And then we look at the front and like one by one, all of the nonni, they're just looking at each other like, cause they can't tell what's happening. Like they're just like,
the guy's Brazilian, but is speaking Italian.
And then what killed my mom was that she lost it because one of my great aunts had a stroke when she was in like her 40s. So she's got like the face.
Yeah.
So but she was looking at like my nonna and she would like and she did one of those with the half dead face.
Oh my God.
And my mom lost it. She started dying laughing.
That's funny.
And then that's when I lost it. Cause like and then I started losing it because I looked over to my sister because my mom's like silently dying laughing, right? Like holding her side,
right? Where you're like,
shaking.
And then I looked over to my sister. I'm like, the people behind us think she's crying. And that's when I started dying.
Yeah, it's just confusion.
We're at a funeral, and so everyone else is gonna think that she's just like overcome with emotion.
Yeah. No. And then everyone will start crying.
Oh. And then when she recovered, she started to recover. She started losing it again because my other aunt was supposed to do the second reading. So there's the first reading in mass, and then there's the second. Sometimes they do a second reading for special events. Usually they do it for a wedding. It's like the couple gets to choose the second reading. And so usually it's like the letter to the Corinthians or whatever about like hope and love and focusing on your relationship. And sometimes they do it for funerals. It's a different type of thing about like, walking with God or whatever. And so she wears glasses, right? So it's coming up to the time when she's about to do the second reading. And so she has her reading in her hand and she's sitting like 2 seats over from me, right? And then so she has the reading and then she pulls out her glasses case from her purse. opens the glasses case, takes out the glasses, puts the glasses on, and is about ready to go. And then the priest just blows by the spot where the second reading is supposed to go and goes right into his homily. And then so she just goes, and she had stood up, right? She stood up, and then
what the fuck did you do? Like just that shit?
She just stood up, and then she sat back down, put her reading down, took her glasses off, put the glasses back in the case, and then back in her purse. And my mom starts dying again.
She got to stretch,
and she basically got Charlie Brown football with strict.
It was hilarious. Like I walked out of that church with abs, just from the amount of convulsions. Like
biggest laugh fest.
Because
great funeral.
I'm supposed to go to this funeral for the aunt.
Oh yeah,
my girlfriend. I've never met this aunt. I've met a few of her, my girlfriend's relatives, like her parents and siblings and their kids and whatnot. But I've never met any of the cousins or the grandparents or anything. Right. So it's just going to be a thing where I am going to be glommed on to my girlfriend because she's the only person I really know.
Yeah.
And we'll probably be there's no emotional weight to it for me. So I'm just going to be must not make fun of stuff because. As a comedian, your first instinct when in an unfamiliar situation is to go full Mystery Science Theater 3000 on it.
Yeah, just
right?
Go full joke. Yeah.
Yeah.
In your head, you can. Nobody said you
all
can't
I'll
do that in your head.
Is if
you're
you have to go
people.
to the
You're deplorable people.
do you have to go to the funeral home or just the funeral?
I don't know. She just said you're coming.
So if it's a funeral home, what if you want to have a good time, stay toward the back of the room, or hit up the coffee room if they have a cafe. That's where the cool people are because that's where they know they can talk without disturbing other people.
Okay, but is it not so enjoyable for old people when they cannot modulate their volume and they're like, "What's happening now?" And you're just like, "Oh, this is gonna be just right in the middle of it." And you're like, "I gotta pee." And you're like, "Oh, that's gonna be."
At the funeral itself, I don't know, man. You're just gonna be bored. You're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah.
You're gonna find a lot of funny shit. I'm gonna tell you that.
I will be sure to bring the notebook. And
yeah.
Have you guys ever?
That's a great plan. Bring a notebook and look around. It's probably a good time to people watch and see some weird stuff.
Yeah.
Probably less so if they're wearing masks and stuff in the pews, but yeah.
Have you guys ever been to an Indian funeral?
No.
4 hours.
Wow.
Of just some guy reading out prayers.
Holy shit.
So
that sounds awful.
Being a Jehovah's Witness, you learn
to
fall
for
asleep.
Hindu or Buddhist?
No, I think it was Hindu.
Okay, so basically they're you're gonna reincarnate. It's fine.
I don't know, but I'll tell you this much. Okay, I learned over so many years going to the Kingdom Hall and going to conventions and stuff. I've learned to fall asleep just like this. Okay, I'm sitting in a chair, an office chair, and I'm just and I'm out. Okay, so 4 hours, 30 minutes in, I'm asleep. My wife is there, and she's like, "You son of a bitch, why are you sleeping?" Now I got to pretend to be awake. And the thing is, every once in a while, I'll just, I'm good. No problem. So everything's fine. But 4 hours, I'm telling you, it was for a work friend. And I was like, okay, I'm going to see you guys in a couple days, so I'm just going to stick it out.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
The problem is that,
good job.
I have epilepsy, and it occurs during sleep. I can't fall asleep in public ever again. Basically.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How's that work?
I never even thought about that.
So it occurs during the first stage of REM sleep for me.
So you can nap.
No. You could have a power nap, a 10-minute one.
Well, not even that, because I had one at work 2 weeks ago because I was about to leave for the day. I was basically no one's here. There was 2 people left. I set a timer, went to sleep in the break room, and woke up in an ambulance. So, and then I had to be okay, let me out. I refuse treatment. There's nothing you can do. So I ordered this bracelet that's basically fuck.
There you go.
I don't know if you can you read that?
The Medi bracelet?
Okay.
No,
I can see that it's a bracelet, but I cannot read it.
It's a bracelet that says epileptic, do not call ambulance unless gravely injured. Roll me on my side, stay with me till I'm lucid.
Oh,
that's fair.
So
why did
That's
they
a lot
go
to ask
with
from someone if
state
they're a stranger.
It's a lot.
to
I
like,
John,
hope
I think,
they abide.
It's a little. You
But
do
here's
live in
the thing.
LA. I don't think
Yeah.
anyone would. They would maybe kick
Well-
you out of their way.
Well,
at
no.
the most.
What happens is like
Yeah.
if they freak out and call the EMTs check for a bracelet.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So when they see that, they're like, "Oh, he's epileptic. Let's just
Yeah,
because
yeah.
there's
They deal
nothing
with
you
it.
can do. It's a
Yeah.
pre-existing condition. Nothing about this is new to me. Just
Yeah.
hang out with me till I'm
It's
awake.
just new to anybody
Yeah.
else who sees it. Right?
Exactly, yeah. But now, like after that, I send an email to like all of my coworkers, be like, "Guys, relax. Like, you know, I also have this bracelet now. Should that happen again
Yeah.
in public?" So
Guys, relax. I
Yeah.
got this.
Yeah.
Except when I don't got this. But when I don't
Yeah.
got this, it's okay. I got
Yeah.
a bracelet. That's
Yeah.
I've talked about my condition on the show before. It's
Atlas, I really want to write a sketch about a guy that falls asleep in a work meeting
yeah.
who is epileptic.
Oh.
Please do. I will gladly be your guy
That is
for that.
that sounds so funny. Like
That's a
in
great
a
Tim
lunch and
Robinson
learn.
sketch.
In a lunch and learn, he's just got his. You know when they give you the little box of food, and so you
Yeah,
got your little
exactly.
sandwich, the mini salad, and a cookie in the corner, and then you just
Yeah.
have it sitting on your lap, and then you're just guy just falls asleep, and then just full epileptic seizure. You just see the cookie go straight up in the air. That-
Your face could be in the bowl of food, just like your cookie monster. Like, I guess this guy loves food.
His face
Loves
is
food.
in the salad, going back and forth.
Yeah,
He's
just
like,
"What's
fucking
going on
fine.
with
Really tossing that salad.
I feel
Well,
like you
bros,
could make it an
uh,
ad for bracelets. And
Yeah,
then
you
have like
could.
one where you find a dead body. You're like, oh, he was homeless. You just leave him there. That's
Yeah.
fine. And then have
Well,
them different
apparently-
for situations.
When I do it, I do this with my hands, like the Thriller dance. So you could probably do something like that, where like he's dancing.
Why do you
Thriller.
tell me this stuff? Why do you say it? Okay.
Because I'm some kind of masochist.
Because
Sorry.
this is Apple.
This is what happens when you tell me things, right?
There's no one here to save you unless you've got a bracelet on, because this is Thriller.
Oh my gosh.
I'll put money in that. That's
You're
totally worth it.
shaking like a motherfucker inside a Thriller tonight. Yeah.
Shit,
Oh,
man.
Definitely
I
using
just
that
figured
sound clip. I'll tell you
Oh
that.
God.
So,
And
man,
he's
when
not-
this first happened, were you not like terrified when you were a kid, or like?
Well, what happened? The first time I had it, I was 17. I had a girl over for the very first time. We went to sleep together in the same bed, and I woke up in an ambulance, and I was like, "Did I do something awesome?" And they were like, "No, you had a seizure," and I was like,
she calls the ambulance. This feels too good. Help me.
I didn't fall asleep while I was inside her. That's not how that works.
No, I'm just saying.
That's
Yeah,
definitely
no.
how I'm telling the story, though.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
No, but that would definitely
She was
be one
on
of
top
those
of
things-
me and she
She
choked
was
me
on
out.
top. He fell asleep. It was just too much, and then
Nope.
everything happened.
Or,
Here it is.
or
Here it
I
is.
start
Here it is.
like
He asked
vibrating,
her-
and then she climbs on top of me, and then just like, let me just before I call the ambulance.
Let me take advantage of the situation right now.
Yeah.
That's
He
great.
asked her to choke him. She chokes him out while he's inside her. Then he starts having
The sex
a
gets
seizure.
great better, like just way better.
And she's like, "Oh, I better call someone after this."
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Alice
just
has the
feel
kind
like-
of epilepsy that targets the pelvis, so you're lucky in that
There you
regard,
go.
you know?
Yeah.
And
Alright.
hands like this
Solely
already. You're like,
pelvic
this
thrust.
is a useful position. You
Alright.
know?
Last thing before we go, I just want to ask, what do you think happens when we die?
Pipes.
Pipes is what he thinks happens when we die.
What
So,
happens when we die?
yeah, John, you want to go first, or
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
first of all, I think it'll all be okay. So we're all freaking out. Some of us are freaking out for no reason. But I think, like some of us, depending, I don't know if we have the choice, but some of us will sort of stick around and talk to those people who can kind of talk to spirits. Because I do believe in that, and like those different people have different kinds of energies. So the people that are
Luigi's Mansion? Like,
yeah, kind of like Luigi's, kind of like Gino's
yeah.
cousin Gino.
Uh,
But yeah, I think some people kind of take it easy and be at peace, and some will communicate. But I don't know. I really don't know.
so you
I don't know,
believe
but-
in ghosts, or
Spirits, like
Spirits.
spirits and different kinds of energies. Because I've met some people that have told me some crazy shit. That's why, and maybe we'll have to have another chat around that and
Oh,
go
yeah,
into
please.
that, because
Well,
that's interesting to me.
Tis
But
the season, right?
yeah,
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll have you on for a spooky episode.
Yeah.
I don't know, but all I know is that like all I've heard from people that are into this and that feel these things a little bit more deeply than the average bear, they say it's okay, like it's okay. There's nothing really to be scared of, and yeah, it's just a part of life,
What about you, Ellis? What do you think?
I have a really dumb theory, and that is I believe in reincarnation, but I believe that you reincarnate into the same person. So when I die, I will be reborn as Atlas Novak in February 1994, and I relive my life over again. And anytime you get deja vu is when two timelines line up with each other.
Ah, I like that.
Fucking genius. I like that.
It's based on nothing, by the way. Like
I would love for that to be the case.
Do you guys get deja vu often?
Occasionally, yeah.
I used to get it a lot as a kid. I dream a lot, and like sometimes I feel like I dream mundane things that happen, mundane or not, but I dream it a week or two.
It's never anything big for me, but sometimes it'll be just like it feels like the exact same situation happening again,
or a sequence. Like
oh,
she just said she likes purple because of this, and now like the phone's gonna ring, and then it does ring. I'm like, oh, now. That's kind of how I do it. A couple sequences.
Oh, really?
Couple sequences I know, and then beyond that I don't know. And it could be a minute, 2 minutes, 30 seconds. But anyway, I have a question for Alice on that. Fuck, we're getting into. We should fucking give us a shorter time period next time. We get to these topics quicker. Now,
that's okay. We'll try and wrap this up pretty quick.
I just want to ask: do you think that you have an innate level of wisdom when you come back each consecutive time? Is there wisdom that you carry with you? And again, wisdom. It's not something that's so obvious that you could pinpoint, but you make better decisions based on previous lifetimes.
I think so, because I don't get deja vu often, so I'm thinking you don't make the same mistakes over and over again. You're doing different stuff each time.
And so, do you think there is an end point to that? Do you think you learned all of your lessons and then you stop getting reincarnated, or
you become Batman?
No, I'm not even sure, because if that's the case, if this ends up being true, that means everyone is doing a different thing each time. So maybe in a different timeline, we don't have the hellscape of late stage capitalism that we're currently living in, and so it's an infinite, combination every single time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you know what? This is interesting. Maybe every reincarnation, you get put into the version of the world that teaches you the lesson you're supposed to learn.
Maybe,
yeah,
like Quantum Leap.
Well, say you've become an extremely
each generation will be the generation home. Wait,
say you become a super selfish person or something, but you live like a half decent life, and you get to the end. Then you get put into super austere circumstances, like a version of the world where you can't have a lot because that's the situation we're in, right?
Well, that's
Sounds
arguably
horrible.
how that works in Hinduism, where if you were a good person, you get a better life the next time around, and then if you were a shitty person, you get a shitty life that time around.
As a human or as any living being? Is that
any living being? Because
okay.
I think you can get up or downgraded. Like if you were a shitty person, you become a cockroach.
The Indian culture is caste structured, right? So and it's the type where you can't move. So you're born as one caste and you stick in that caste, and it's not possible for you to move to a different caste
until you die and are supposed to.
So that's why they kind of the religion kind of mirrors the reality where it's there's a hope that the next time you'll be in the next one above, right? So you're not always going to be untouchable.
Yeah, I have a question.
What a great name for a group of people.
Yeah, the Untouchables. Yeah. Great movie too.
Oh my god.
I have a question.
Yeah.
It's so have you guys ever had a recurring dream where you die?
No.
Yeah, I have.
Yes.
Yeah, because I have it, and I have different dreams where I die, but I've played them out multiple times, but I'm always wearing the same shirt, so I got rid of the shirt.
You just hacked the code.
I don't know, because I still see it wearing that. I still have those same dreams, and I'm like, but always wearing that shirt. And I don't know why, because it wasn't a flattering shirt. And it's always bugged me. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And I specifically, because my wife will come home with random clothes. And I'm like, listen, this type of shirt, don't buy it. And she's like, why? And I'm like, just...
It's
You
the
don't wanna
cursed one.
I don't know.
It's like that retail space you just bought a cursed shirt.
It's 100%.
Wait, so what about you
interesting.
two? Nick, what do you think happens when we die?
I think like no matter what happens when you die, I don't think it matters. Because I think at its core, like in terms of what we can understand and we can know, you live on in people's memories regardless. Mm-hmm. So I'm much more focused on like you need to be a good person to the people around you and live a life full of memories that's worth people like sharing and talking about so that you can live on. Yeah, that's kind of where I see it.
Interesting. Dino?
Well, I don't think so. I'm a firm believer in we are not top of the food chain. That's my first thing. No, and that's the thing is we only see it's like 11% of the visual spectrum. We only hear like 16% of the auditory spectrum. Mm-hmm. Like there's so much that goes on without our understanding or without an ability for us to affect it. So like I don't think that the we that we are goes anywhere, but the we that we are does move on to something. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think like me, Dino the Genetic Marvel, that's it. It's a one run done, right? But that like you said, John, like that wisdom or that knowledge does go somewhere, but I don't know
that like existence-ness.
Yeah, like it's me, but not me. Like it's my knowledge, my wisdom, my emotions. All those things are wrapped up in something that we can't perceive, and I do think that goes somewhere. But I don't really. I think that you're alive. Like that state of existence of being alive is a limited time experience for what is existence, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're not getting the full book. You're getting some of the pages, right?
Yeah, and it's and the other you can't see the other pages from the other pages, right? Like this is one experience. There may be another. I don't know. And I don't think it's something that would benefit you to know.
We're experiencing this as physical beings, so we can, like you said, we have a certain percentage of sensory data that we can interpret. We can
deprivation absorb. Too, right? We're not allowed to absorb other things on purpose, right? Like there's a myth for the Green Lanterns that anyone who can see the beginning of time can change it.
Yeah.
You're like that seems like a thing, right? Like you're like you can't, because we know that certain things will react differently when observed. So it only makes sense that you can't see certain things because of that, right? Like there's a lot of knowledge that we've scratched the surface on, but we don't actually have any understanding, right? We think it's a certain way, but that's math with letters. That's not fucking clear. It makes it worse.
Good. Math
all
with
right,
letters.
I'm gonna go eat some mushrooms because this makes my brain hurt.
Yeah,
I gotta resolve some shit.
Oh my god, John! Thank you so much for coming on.
Hey, good talking to you guys.
Where can people find you and follow you?
At Pepino's Kitchen, I make fun food.
Ooh.
I make food fun.
Yeah. I like the word. I make food fun.
Yeah.
Is that like Twitter, Instagram, YouTube?
That's it. Just there, and you can. You know what? Most people can just find me walking down the street and say hello to me. I think that's what you could just do if you want to give the world a gift, give myself a gift.
Okay.
I'm not really too big on the socials.
Yeah.
Smart.
Man, you guys both live just north of me.
Yeah.
You
can find the show at Generation Dan on Twitter. Send us an email at generationdanpod@gmail.com if you have like a topic or just want to say hi. Come talk to us.
We'll send you a picture of Atlas back.
Yeah.
With various backgrounds.
Yes, exactly.
And you know what, listener, that is a great idea. We should make posters.
Maybe we should. I started putting them up around LA.
Sponsored by Dr. Atlas Snowcock, MD.
Okay, yeah. Follow me at Twitter, Instagram at Atlas Novak. Check out my other show at Nexus at Night.
You can find me on Instagram at Nick Fernandez Comedy, and that's basically all
I forgot that you sent us this as well. He had changed his Twitter profile as the Snowcock
for a very short time. Yes.
You're very sure. I'm like, I need evidence, and I'm going to make sure it's displayable because that's what matters. I am Dino the Genetic Marvel, people. You can follow me. Just Google Dino the Genetic Marvel. I'm the only one because who would want a duplicate? Not my wife. I'll tell you that. So.
Leave a like, leave a comment, review, tell your friends, follow us on Twitter, whatever. Thanks, everybody. What do you think happens after we die? And see you next week.
That's